Are there any interview red flags I should look for?
Missing interviews, being late, not answering questions effectively, and being evasive. So as a starting point, as a first-time manager, I just want to give you some reality here. You are going to hire people who are amazing. You're going to hire people who are okay, and you're going to hire total disasters. Like, it is inevitable. So myself, as someone who's like a coach, a business owner, like I advise companies like literally all over the world, I have certainly hired some of the most amazing people, some people who have been like pretty good, and also some people who've just been like a total disaster. And it's inevitable. All of us do it. Everyone. There's no like perfect way to vet people out. And also it's like the more interviews that people have, like where there's like 5 interviews, there's 10 interviews, there's psychometric testing, there's this, there's that. There's no way to assure that you're going to get like a good hire, because at the end of the day, the person might be amazing, but maybe the job's not amazing, or maybe the job's amazing, the person's not amazing. And there's all sorts of things that could go wrong. So there's no perfect way to get the right hire. But when it comes to interviewing, I just say like the stakes of the game. If someone misses an interview, they don't get another chance unless there's some kind of totally understandable thing, like a real deal family emergency, real deal car problems, whatever it is. But also, there's no way that you can really know that what they said is true. So I will say, like, more often than not, if someone misses an interview, it's almost certainly a flag, because more often than not, the person who's saying that they missed the interview, it's usually for some kind of bullshitty reason. Now, I will say, me, myself, I missed an interview because actually my car broke down. My car broke down on the Portman Bridge. And like, I literally was the guy blocking a lane of traffic on like a 2-lane bridge, and it was a total nightmare. And I ended up actually like having to call in, but I still went and showed up there afterwards. And I showed up, my pants were covered in mud from like, you know, having to push my car and all that kind of stuff. I still went and showed up at that place and made an apology in person. I had already called, but then I also went in and said, hey, just to let you know, this really happened. Can I make up for the interview? So if the person actually like shows up, I think that's a different thing. Like, even if they show up late, but if someone's just like not showing up and they've got an excuse, more often than not, I'm going to encourage you that it's probably someone that had like a time conflict and managed their schedule well, something happened. But also it's like, if you have an interview that day, you should be getting to a place super early. You should be planning things out in advance so you could make it. So missing an interview is like, for me, it's not that there's no way back from that, but I don't know. Second, showing up late. Showing up late for an interview, get out of here. Like, people should be showing up well in advance of an interview, even if they're just showing up so they know they're there. If someone's showing up like right on time, that makes me even a little bit nervous. Usually, like if they're showing up like 30 minutes early and they're just sitting in the lobby or sitting there kind of like waiting, that's maybe a bit much. But I think it's like good practice for someone to show up at least 15 minutes for an interview, even if they have difficulty accessing the building or any of those things. So if someone's showing up late to an interview, and I mean like if they're late by a minute, that to me is like an issue right off the bat. It's showing poor timing on their point of view. So that's another one. Third, people being able to not answer questions effectively. Someone not being able to answer questions effectively, you could just say, oh, they're just nervous. Well, yeah, of course they're nervous, but also they're showing up for an interview. There's a certain level of performance that's expected in an interview that someone should prep and be ready for. Depending on the kind of job you're hiring them for, that's like another thing. So if someone's not going to be in a lot of like high pressure situations where they're going to have to do a lot of communicating with stakeholders who have high expectations, you could be a little bit more forgiving there. But if someone's having like a really hard time answering effectively, like you don't quite know what they're saying, you have to kind of keep digging, and they're not trying to be evasive, they're just really bad at answering questions, that's where you really need to be considering is like, unless this person's going to be in a position where they're in a job that is 0% stressful, there's 0% performance expected in terms of being able to express their ideas clearly and concisely, and there's 0% that they're going to be having to give good answers to stakeholders who are motivated to get an answer. With that, then that's probably not a flag, but that's also like probably like the smallest amount of jobs out there. What I'd suggest is people being unable to answer questions is a big flag that they might be a wonderful person, a great professional, really know their stuff, but are they going to be effective in the job? So answering questions clearly and concisely is like for me, like a top tier concern. And then finally being evasive. Oh, I can't stand when people are evasive in interviews, drives me absolutely nuts. I ask a direct question, give me a direct answer. And I don't mean an inability to answer questions effectively. What I do mean is that they're trying to market themselves to you in a way where like they're leaving things out or they're talking around things. When anyone ever talks around something in an interview, that's the thing that I become instantly the most curious about. And I'm going to ask like 3 or 4 questions about it. And if people continue to be evasive in an interview, noticing that I've done that once already and they haven't learned instantly and adapted to that style, that's a huge flag. So again, give yourself some mercy here. You're going to hire people who aren't going to be a good fit. It's just normal. At the same time, really be thinking if they miss the interview, they're late for the interview, they're not good at answering questions, or they're evasive, those are major red flags.